Shah, this documentary that has been put out by the BBC, it's a poster of Shamima Begum, and it screams, "I'm not a monster," the Shamima Begum story. And like I said, some of these clips they've been posting on Instagram and Twitter, clips of her saying that she was just a young girl who was brainwashed by the ISIS and she didn't know what she was doing, and she hopes to now come back to the UK. She says that living in a refugee camp in Syria is worse than living in a prison, because at least in a prison when your sentence ends, but there's no end here. I mean, do you think it's fair to give a platform to Shamima Begum like this and to put out her story and to put out this poster firstly saying, "I'm not a monster"? We understand that, yes, it was a young girl who claims that she was brainwashed, but clearly, it's not settling well with the people, the way the BBC is trying to now build this narrative around Shamima Begum. And sort of, they're creating this story to maybe actually even get her back to the UK.
Okay, Devika, that's a very good question. Right now, currently at this point of time as we speak, I'm at a function, I stepped out and the leading school's principals are here. So I told them that I have to just quickly go on this live with you on Shamima Begum, the BBC documentary. None of them, they are school principals, mind you. None of them ever heard of this name, Shamima Begum. So as you said, is it fair to give a platform to this person? No, it is not fair. Because people who haven't heard of her, you are fanning the wind for people to know of who Shamima Begum is then. So whole idea of anyone, I'm not a monster. Nobody is a monster. Nobody's a monster when they're born. Circumstance, everyone knows. And these terrorists, all of them are brainwashed. All of them. So it is all, so the very fact that, you come out with a document, not you, the BBC comes out with a documentary and says that she's not a monster, this is what happened, she got married and 10 days bride and she had 3 children, they all died young, whatever. So now we are fanning the fire further. So people who do not know of Shamima Begum, they suddenly are like, they are getting aware. And it is definitely not fair. Why? Why should we let us show them better news? Let us show what's happening around the world. See what's happening in Turkey, Syria. In fact, people are fighting for their lives. India has sent rescue teams. We have the whole lot of people going from India. There is a lot of better global news to actually show and to play. You look at Russia, Ukraine, there's so much suffering happening around. I mean, there's Israel, Palestine, there's so much suffering around. But now when you focus on one particular person and then you show the news on that and you show that person was a victim, I think that is going a bit too far. It's uncalled for. It is not required at all. And imagine, Devika, currently at this point of time, the leading school principals, they do not know, they have not heard. So leave alone everyone else. And I don't blame the principal. I'm like, they have better news to follow here. So I think, yes, it is wrong. It is one loses credibility then. And especially if you show a news, news I have seen on your channel, breaking news. It has to be events hot. You show it then. You show a piece of news 20 years later or whatever, and you claim whatever. No one is interested in knowing what happened 20 years now. 20 seconds early, yes, people are very distinct. But no, coming back to your question, I don't think it is appropriate to actually fan the news of a person who's been a terrorist, Devika.
Right, absolutely. And at the same time, Shah, also, of course, this is a very tricky situation. This is a complicated situation because on the one hand, the BBC claims that they're trying to expose, what happens online and how young minds are brainwashed, because Shamima Begum, she says that she was in love with the IS. She was desperate to join them. She was figuring out, she was making plans. But at the same time, by giving her such a platform, by, making posters of her, like she's people are right. They truly are trying to present her as some sort of a celebrity, who now wants to come back to the UK. You are in a way sending out a very confused message to other young people out there.
That's correct, absolutely. Then why glorify terrorism? Why glorify the whole thing? That's the whole point. Obviously every criminal, every thief will say he's not a born thief. The circumstances made him turn into a thief. Then why then glorify thieves? Then glorify crime. People who commit rapes, murders, drugs, these are criminals. So circumstance makes them turn to that, right? So, there's no excuse to it. A crime is a crime. A terrorist act is a terrorist act, and it should be punished with the most strictest laws. And you cannot glorify a person. You cannot make posters. Then what example are you setting for the younger generation? For people will start looking up to them as role models. You are channels, mediums, media especially, they are influence builders. They create opinions. Like right now, Devika, at this point of time, there will be millions of people watching us and taking back something home from there. But when you glorify a terrorist or a criminal and say the circumstances, that person was in love and whatever, there is no excuse. There is no excuse to crime, to terrorism, and for such things, Devika. I think one should be very hard on that.
Yes, absolutely, Major Shah. Thank you for joining us with your views.